delaying this, man. Come on, man.
Good, man.
Let's go. Always ready, baby. See, listen, man. You're not ready. This is the first time.
I'm ready.
You know what I mean? Shame on you, man. Shame on you. Always ready, man. We ready to go, and we got one member of the Always Ready. We got we 50% not ready, bro. Like we done failed.
I'm ready.
We done failed the whole situation, man. Listen, you ready? So I know you ready and rocking and ready to go, man. Subscribe below. Make sure that you stay tapped into us. AlwaysReadyOnline.com. You can find all our information. We got trainings, man, every single week on Thursday evenings that we do. You're gonna want to make sure that you tap into that. You can find that online, and then of course you can catch the podcast on wherever you get your podcast from. Tap in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that good stuff. You know, get popping, get plugged in, man. Are you ready now?
I'm about ready.
You almost ready.
I'm almost ready. I'm almost ready.
Well, while you getting ready, man, let me tell you a little situation that happened to me this past weekend. So my guy has he drives trucks in the trucking. And so for the longest, I've been wanting to explore that industry and definitely get involved in the trucking logistics. Primarily for, we have a lot of different businesses and different ideas that we want to bring to market, not only for myself and ourselves, but for other people that we work with. You guys know we work with a ton of individuals, man, across the country. And so we're always looking for different ways to kind of plug people into different systems and provide them employment opportunity. So, of course, you look at the trucking industry, logistics, and, recession-proof almost, if you will. You know what I mean? COVID ain't stopped the trucks. You know what I mean? Amazon is one of the companies that's continuing to rise because you got to get product and goods from A to B. So anyway, my guy, he drives trucks, and I've been looking into it. And so he says, hey, man, come out with me. Let's, I want to show you the ropes, because I'm thinking about obviously getting my CDLs just so I can kind of learn the landscape of that industry. Plus, I just like designations. Like, like people just like stuff behind their name and like, you know what I mean?
You like the letters?
Yeah, you just like stuff.
So
like,
you're going to get your doctorate
Get
soon?
my PhD.
Yeah, you go
know what I mean? Hard schooling.
I mean, you don't have to, you can get like somebody that has a doctorate can like give you a doctorate, I think.
Yeah, I heard of that. I
forget what it's called.
Here's the thing, like, I just think if you say we getting off topic. I'm gonna come back to it. But if you say like, if I just started calling myself Dr. Smith,
right,
and like my LinkedIn, it was like, yo, I got my PhD from like wherever, like online university. Yeah. Like nobody is gonna like who. I've never been like, yo, let me see your diploma.
Yeah, it's like a honorary. No, I forget what it's not honorary. Maybe it is, but they can give, like, you can get it. Like somebody can just hand it, and nobody asks questions.
Yeah.
I mean, but most people usually put like, yo, I got my doctorate from, and they actually document the process. Like, man, I'm going in for it. So you're gonna have to make a post like, man, I'm about to be a doctor here in about.
I just pop up, Dr. Smith. Y'all ain't know what I was doing behind the scenes for the last 2 years.
Hey, you can get it online. You probably can become a doctor online in about 3 weeks. Like 3 weeks.
For $350.
$350. We'll send you your certificate and everything, and you'll have it. And it's probably legit too.
Selfie. Hey, man. Anyway, man, I like
CDLs. You trying to get
designations. So I'm like, yo, I mess with it. So long story short, man, I get in my guys, man. We go rolling. He's showing me different parts of the truck and how to operate and things like that. We kind of rolling. We actually going through some stops. We got one stop left. One stop. We hit all the stops. Boom. We finally wrap it up for the day. We got one stop left.
What time is it?
This is like about 9 o'clock in the evening.
All right.
9 o'clock in the evening. We got one stop left. Boom. It's about 8:30 actually, because we supposed to be done like around 9:30. One stop left. Truck breakdown. Truck breakdown on the highway, man. I'm like, dang, what is that? You know what I mean? I hear the pop. I heard the pop. I was like, dang, man, what is that?
Truck tore ACL.
Next thing you know, we limping along. So And it was my guy's first encounter. You know what I mean?
All right. First time at breaking down.
First time breaking
All
down.
right.
You know what I mean? So we like, all right, let's figure
Thought
it out.
His first trip. I was about to be
First time for everything. So, you know, he had a trailer on. You know, what I mean? He was delivering for a company, so he had to make all of these calls. You know, get some folks to come and rescue us, so to speak. Get some folks to come and get the trailer so that they could, you know, look. They like, look, I don't care about you on the side of the road. We still need to come and get that so we can get the goods to where they need to be.
Right.
You figure your situation out, but we're gonna come and get that load. So it took about 2 hours, man, and they came and got the junk. And our thought was, you know, we had kind of just lost a little bit of power. We wasn't able to pull the trailer, but we would, you know, once we unloaded it, we would be able to drive the actual tractor, the truck, you know what I mean, just back. So they get the trailer, and as soon as we took off, I start smelling all of these fumes, and I'm like, something ain't right. Like this is different than just maybe a hose being loose or some power. Like this is crazy. To the point where I'm like, I'm halfway out the window, man. I'm trying to like get the air.
Wait a minute, did you have your COVID mask on though?
Nah, I
Probably would have helped you.
No. You know what? I did put my mask on. No help, bro. It was just already in track. We was engulfed.
All right, so what you found out was the COVID masks don't work.
COVID masks don't work on whatever fumes that was going on in that situation. Hey, if it was COVID in them fumes, I got it for sure, because them things was in. So I'm I'm hanging out the window like trying to suck air, and that didn't work, man. We got like half a mile down the road, and we was like, look, either we about to blow up or we about to just pass out from like exhaust, you know, fumes. So we ended up pulling over, man, and we ended up, you know, having to tow the truck, and we got to ride back. You know, wee hours in the morning later, we made it home safely, and obviously we here.
There you go.
But as I was thinking through this whole process, right, and the time that we was out on the road, you know, we had our hazards on, we set up the cones, set up the triangles, you know. First of all, man, it's scary being on the freeway, and you know, we wasn't too far off, you know what I mean? Them cars just phew. And I'm kept thinking like, man, you know.
I mean, what kind of noise did the cars make?
Phew. Huh? Ain't that what? What you thinking? They coming, they whizzing, bro.
I just wanted to make sure we was on the same page. I don't know what kind of car it was that made that noise. Futuristic, and it's on the. All right, we good. But
so we pulled over, you know, got all our safety precautions out, and nobody stopped. We on the freeway, got all the hazards on. Like you could tell you know, something was going on. It's a situation, and nobody stopped to help. They didn't pull over. Now, I didn't expect nobody to pull over. In fact, I wouldn't have pulled over. Like I see trucks, people on the side of the road all the time, and I'm like, I'm not. I mean, you know, especially on the freeway, like, yay, I'm gone.
Plus, it's a truck.
Like I'm gone. Right.
I mean, if it was a car, you could possibly, but like what you gonna do with a semi? Like, you don't know how to fix a semi. You know what I mean?
You need your tire change.
Right? Like, nah. Hey, they can figure it out.
You got a jack. You got the jack. Give me the jack. So yeah, no cars stopped, which again I didn't expect, but it still was interesting, right? Yeah. And I started thinking about like conceptually, like, man, you know, like, how does this relate? You know, obviously we're always trying to think about the events and experiences that we experience. Like, how does it relate to other things in life? And so what I was thinking, I said, okay, well, nobody didn't stop. Number one, they're going too fast. You know what I mean? You coming up, by the time you get to us, you know, you 60, 65, 70, like, I mean, to stop, like, I mean, you know, you would have to really be super intentional.
You have to see y'all way up there and say, you know what, by the time I get up there, I'm slowing down because I want to help them because they pulled over.
So number
you could
one,
just be taking a nap for real, because a lot of cats just pull over and just take a nap.
Nah, I don't think you're supposed to do that. Well, not on the freeway. Like, you're supposed to go to the rest stop.
All right.
Come on, man. You're not getting no designation. Listen. So number one, I just said that people are going too fast, and then I think to your point, like kind of what you said is, and also people always assume that, oh, you got to figure it out. Like, hey, you must got AAA. You must know how to change a spare tire.
Wait a minute. Did
What?
AAA come for like?
No. I ain't saying for
All right.
semis. I'm
Oh,
just saying
okay.
like in
In
general.
general,
If you
all
see
right.
somebody over, you probably like, yo, they got it figured out. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely for a semi, you like, oh man, he got the radio. He can dispatch
Yeah.
like something. He's got it figured out. He or she's probably got it figured out. So I'm like, I mean, what am I stopping for, right? And of course, that's that situation. And I'm not necessarily even encouraging you or anybody else to stop on the freeway help a semi driver. But I just really start thinking about that, like as it relates to life, you know what I mean, and the everyday thing that we go through in our situations. And, you know, we often pass people that we may know are in help, you know what I mean, in times of need, but we don't stop because we going too fast.
That's
like we in
good.
our own lane.
Yeah.
We moving. Like we got our own thing to worry about, right?
Yep.
Like I'm going too fast. I can't stop and take time. Like I got to get to where I'm moving too fast.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's good, man.
In our own lives, whatever that fast may be for you. So that's the first thing, and then the other thing is I think ultimately we also assume that people have it figured out. Like, oh, okay, I know you're going through it, but you know you probably gonna figure it out, or somebody else is probably on their way to help you. Like somebody else is taking care of the situation. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm good. I'm gonna keep pushing, man. So, you know, I know that a lot of people have offered, you know, an extended assistance and helping hand during, you know, these pandemic times and COVID and things of that nature. But I still think, you know, vast majority of us, like we still moving, we still busy, we still, you know, not necessarily looking at other people and looking of how we can maybe stop and lend a hand. So it just kind of tied together, and that was my takeaway from all of that. After I got my lungs back.
So, first of all, that's an excellent story.
Talk to me.
And principle. I like it. I like the tie-in.
Yeah, I knew you would.
However, I question. So you probably was high when you thought of that, is what you're telling me.
I probably was high on exhaust fumes. Hey,
before I get out of here, how can I?
Man, I gotta like turn a negative into a positive. Hey, you know what's crazy? I was falling asleep though. Like before we took off, I was in the cab and I kept smelling a little bit, and I kept like dozing off, and I was like, man, why am I so tired? And it wasn't until after like, I really got the whiff of it, I was like, oh, yeah, I probably was.
Yeah, it probably was a small leak at first.
I probably was in a little situation.
Yeah, man, you got out of that nice and easy. Thank God for that one.
Man.
You know, because y'all could have tried to make it, and who knows, or it could have been like a slow leak the whole time, you know what I mean, versus like it got real bad.
And I was thinking too, like, man, what if this thing just blow up?
Yeah. You don't know.
Shout out to my guy, man. You know what I mean? You know what's crazy? I think, you know, everything happened for a reason, man, and I was supposed to be with him that evening. You know, he hit me, yo, come ride with me. I want to show you some things. And at first I was like, and then I said, all right, cool, I'll jump in with you.
Yeah.
And we go through the whole experience, you know what I mean? And not to say that he wouldn't have been able to handle that on his own, but just the fact that, you know, you got a little more comfort, you know what I mean, when somebody else is there with you. We was on a dark road because it did get dark. It was midnight, and you know what I mean, just being there with somebody obviously helped that situation, you know, a little ease it a little bit.
No, I think, you know, just we've said it multiple times, but like the whole, you know, the cliche is you're better together, and you know, we always say, you know, greatness demands a duo, but whenever you're doing anything, you just, it's better to have help, you know what I mean? So if you weren't there, he would have been that much more stressed and trying to figure out what's what, or he could have been like, no, I can make it, or made a bad decision or whatever it may be, and not really think the whole thing through. Specifically when you don't have nobody stopping. Right. And so that's the part I think that was cool about how you tied it all in. Like, why don't people stop? And you said, like, you just moving so fast, you're making these assumptions that other people got it taken care of. You're like, nah, it's too dangerous. Or, you know, I don't want to add, you know, I got enough problems of my own. I don't want to stop and help this person. But just to be able to pull over, it's like that. I mean, think about it. When you see like an accident, even just with cars, or you see anybody pulled up to the side of the road, I mean, you think, instead of thinking like, you know, I could stop and help this person, you like, if I stop and help this person, what if this person does something to me? Like, what if I put myself in harm's way, or somebody else will take care of it? So, it's that old little piece, like somebody will figure out, you know what I mean? But
I tell you what, we did make a couple bad decisions that evening. So while we was like pulled over, there was like a Kroger like on the side, like you know what I mean. We was right by this exit, so we walked to this Kroger, and man, I ate like about at least 500 grams of fat in like 2 hours. I mean, we had Doritos.
Man, that's why you
cheese,
still here, man. Your body, listen.
Like cookies.
Your body took all that with the exhaust fumes and was like,
drink.
You had to fight it off.
I think I got a trucker. I got a truck belly in like 2 hours.
And then you went running. You went running, worked out, and then cut your sleeves off, and now you just sleeveless right now. You feeling so good.
Easy.
I got a story for you that I was thinking about. Actually, just popped in my head about eating. Anyway, so it was our third. No, I was going into our second year. So it's 2008, and my receivers coach is like, "Hey, I want you to get faster. I need you to be quicker." So I'm like, "All right." Like, I want you to be like Marvin. I want you to be like Reggie. You know, Reggie, 6 foot, 6'1", 180, 185. Mm-hmm. Marvin about 170, 6 foot, 170. Bro, I'm 6'3", 230. I need you to be quicker. I need you to be faster. He just never wanted me to be like physical fit. He wanted me to be just faster, quicker.
Finesse.
I'm like, man, that's not really my skill set. You know what I mean? But anyway, he's my position coach, so I'm like, whatever he tell me to do, I'm gonna do it. So we in the middle of training camp, and he like, no, this how you talk. He talking back in his throat.
Do what?
He's like, well, I need you.
So
yeah, I need you to. You probably try to come down 15 pounds, 20 pounds. So we in the middle of training camp. Now I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? What I'm doing, right? Because I just believed in him. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't have the information to know that that's not a good idea to try and lose 20 pounds in training camp. All right. Matter of fact, it wasn't 2008. It was 2007, our rookie year. So this was my first year. We trying to make the team, whatever, you just getting information. And I didn't know that I was in charge of my own body, like not to listen to your position coach. And so, bro, I started eating salads. I'm eating vinaigrette dressing, bro. I can't spell vinaigrette for $1 million right now. I don't know if it's 2 R's or 2 T's right now, right? I like ranch dressing, you know what I mean? Everybody else eating steak, everybody else eating burgers and fries, and they got a whole platter of Rice Krispie treats for, you know what I'm saying? They got all types of snacks, and I'm eating lettuce, bro. I don't even like lettuce. I don't like the taste of lettuce. I don't like tomatoes, all that. So I'm eating salad for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I'm just eating salad. Like some Cheerios and then some salad and then some salad for dinner. Bro, I lost like 18 pounds in like 2 days, dog. Like,
and then you automatically losing weight anyway because, you know what I mean, water weight, sweat.
I went from 235 or so to like 215 in like 3 days. On that third day, my body was like, you're an idiot. Pull my hamstring. So luckily it was only like a grade 1 and not like 3, but I missed like 3 or 4 days. So
what you're saying is if you had like Doritos and nacho cheese and like cookies, you'd probably be straight.
And burgers and everything else.
With no lettuce.
Bro, I'm working as hard as I can to try and get faster and losing weight, listening to bad information, right? And like at some point, like I'm talking to the strength and conditioning coach. He's like, why would you listen to your position coach to help you lose? You know what I mean? To tell you, I'm like, he's my position coach. You know what I mean? Like he told me to be like this dude right here. He tried to get me to be like this dude a little bit faster. Like he want me to, he's like, nah, that's like stupid. Like you need your weight. You know what I mean? Anyway, they put me back on a regular diet and I gained my weight back in like a day or two. Told me to go to Burger King and do a whole, no, straight up. Told me to go to Burger King and eat and gain my weight back. But what I found out in that moment, just from a professional standpoint, just from a life standpoint, is sometimes people will literally lose themselves trying to find a shortcut to somebody else's success. Mm-hmm. Like they'll become or try and attempt to deplete themselves. I'll become whatever I got to become and lose like the essence of who you are so that you can find a faster way to get the exact same success that somebody else had. What my coach didn't realize and what most people don't realize is that your unique gifts and talents are for you. And so you got to like double and triple down on those strengths versus trying to be like somebody else. It's one of the things that I admire about you and your approach to life. Like, yo, I want to get my CDLs. Why? Because I want to be able to do this. Yo, I want to learn this part of business because I do. And it don't matter what everybody else say. Like, everybody else is going to say, no, you should just focus on this. Just do this and keep doing this and stay there and just be and do that for 25, 30 years. And you're like, nah, I'm going to be good at, not necessarily great, but I'm going to be good at a lot of different things, enough to where I have enough information that if I want to hire somebody to do this, and they could do it full time, and if they messing up, I can be the boss and know like, nah, I've done that before. You know what I mean? And so I just want to encourage everybody listening, you know, just even talking about our guy who was, you know, who's driving the trucks and everything, like, decided to do something different. You know what I mean? But one of his strengths is I'm a grind. So I'm okay with being up in the middle of the night and driving for hours and making my money or doing whatever I got to do and running my business, which is really, really good versus saying, you know what, I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to take this shortcut and try and be like somebody else. So I learned that the hard way, man. Like, you could literally lose yourself trying to find a shortcut to find somebody else's success, man. It's not happening, man. And just stay 230, baby.
And just to piggyback off of that, I mean, I think like you know the essence of the whole dieting piece. I mean, people go through that all the time. Like, yo, I'm gonna follow somebody else's diet plan because they lost this and that. And even from that perspective, we know like, yo, your body is unique to you. You got to find out what works for you, whether it's dieting, whether it's work, whether it's education, whether it's raising your kids, whatever it may be. Like, you got to find out, like you said, what are your strengths, man, and always look to elevate those strengths and manage those weaknesses. But I think oftentimes, and we talked a lot about this, but we get so focused on trying to, like, elevate our weaknesses that we don't even focus on our strengths, right? And then we just kind of become average, you know what I'm saying, if you will.
Speaking of average, that's where we at right now in regards to a decision on college football.
Average at best?
We're average at best. Don't nobody know what to do. The players want to play. The coaches want to play. The fans want them to play.
President Trump wants them to play.
President Trump wants them to play. Hashtag we want to play. But the president...
Has he ever played a... Do you think President Trump, like...
I don't know.
Played anything ever?
He a businessman, so I could see him probably... He probably was, like, hosting events. Like, people would probably be hooping. He'd be like, look, I tell you what, here's the buy-in. he probably owned the local basketball court. He probably was on the AAU team, and it was his team.
Everybody thought he was the water boy, and he's like, yeah.
I own this. Yeah. You're not playing today. You just don't know it. You're not starting. But no, so you got President Trump, everybody pushing, but the presidents of the universities right now, as we speak, sources say that 13 or so out of the 15 or however many Big Ten teams it are basically have voted to cancel the fall. And now everybody's in an uproar. So
I've been saying it though, man. I just couldn't really see it happening. I don't think it's gonna happen. You know, and I just with everything going on now, I'm not saying that that's the right decision. I'm not saying
no. You gotta take a stance
about what
what is it, right or wrong? You gotta have you don't get to be on the fence.
Is it right or wrong? What is right or wrong? If they don't play, they do play.
Should they play or shouldn't they play? You got to make a decision right now, live.
I mean,
you the president of your university.
I say no.
Okay.
I say no.
There you go.
It's too many variables. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I get it. This is one instance. This is one thing. I get it, but it's too many other effects, the trickle down effects. And what I'm saying is, you know, data is still out there. We don't know the true severity of COVID, but we really don't know how it trickles down to everything else. And I think with all of the concessions and all of the adjustments that were being made specifically to college football, it was almost taken away from the game anyway. So like it was going to be such a watered down experience. You know, we talked about the NBA and you know how they've been able to, you know, kind of control their environment. It's still somewhat of a watered down experience, but you know, it's not as bad as I think what college was going to be set up to be, college football specifically. You know, college football is an experience. Like, you know, you go Ohio State. Now, not all colleges are like Ohio State. I think we're spoiled. We're used to a certain environment and atmosphere when it's college football season. You want to go to the tailgates. You know, you want to go to your people's house. You know what I mean? You know, family, and you gather and you watching the big games. You throwing on your gear. You might go to the bar or whatever you do to celebrate and enjoy watching Ohio State win, right? Like, it was already taken away. They already talked about only 20% of people gonna be in the stands. Y'all couldn't even high five nobody when they scored. You kidding me? Like, we just in the stands, like, you know, just chilling. Nobody next to, like,
with masks on.
Yeah, with masks on, like that. Okay, so that's gone. No tailgating. I mean, man, sometimes I go to the games and don't even go to the game. Like, we just hanging out. We, you know, get a chance to see some of our former teammates and like, okay, so tailgating is gone. Like, all the rules and regulations surrounding bars, like, nobody I don't want to be in a bar, you know what I mean? So like, all of these things, I can't even barely go over my friend's house, you know what I mean? And celebrate, like, it's just taking up. So it was so watered down to me. It was almost like, okay, from a fan's perspective, you know what I mean? At this point, from a player's perspective, I get it. Like, yo, especially if this was my senior year, especially if I had a lot to prove out on the field. But the trickle down effect in the, okay, if and when, because more than likely it's going to be a win scenario, right? Okay, like, how does that affect? I mean, you're talking about lawsuits, you're talking about people, like, parents now suing. Okay, yeah, I get that you said, Justin Fields, you said you want to play. All right, now you got COVID. You know what I mean? And now you can't go to the NFL like you were supposed to, or when you were supposed to your draft. Now you want to sue? Like, I can't base this decision on the legacy and the history of this university, you know, over a century on, you know, somebody's feelings and emotions, right? So it just had so much trickle down, and it was just so watered down to this point that you gotta just say nah.
And those are the two perspectives, like the players and coaches, kind of those in that bubble, and then everybody else. And the fans weren't going to be able to be fans like they wanted to, but I think people are just pushing toward for football because it's one of those. I mean, it's the sport, it's America's sport, so everybody wants to do it. But you got to think long term. It's interesting to me to hear people's perspectives on COVID, and at the end of the day, for me, like, I don't care if it's one person dying. 100,000, like, a life is a life, right? And so we started this whole thing way back in March or February, whenever it was. And it's like, we got to protect our loved ones and the elderly and this and that. And obviously we kind of gone through the hoops and hurdles of the impact, and you kind of see how you can contain it and not. And then everybody said, open everything back up. Then it started spreading again. And then we pulled back, and they're trying to keep it from shutting down again. I just think that, man, you got to think safety first, no matter what. And even if you don't agree, right? I had somebody try and tell me, like, hey, y'all giving out masks to kids, but there's no scientific evidence that prove cloth masks, like, help fight COVID for kids. Maybe that's true, but it's better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like, and so it's just people's perspective. Everybody just has to be the smartest person in the room, man. So I just feel like, from an athletic standpoint, we saw how it impacted the NBA early when a couple of those guys got COVID, but they got to be inside of a bubble, can't leave, you know what I mean? Got to be quarantined when they leave and come back, even for 4 or 5 days, you know what I mean? You can't do that on a college campus. You can't, especially if you got kids on campus as well and you interacting. And so what happens if your star players get COVID? You know what I mean? You got to shut everything down. You know, Rutgers shut down for a whole 2 weeks. Michigan State shut down for a whole 2 weeks. So I just feel like the best thing to do is to just postpone it, move it, cancel it. They want to talk about moving into the spring, but I don't know if that'll work, because you're asking guys to then play 25, upwards of 30 games in a year, in a calendar year, if you play in the spring and then try and play again next fall. So I
schedules
feel,
and
I feel for the players, man. You know, specifically the ones that to your point, had a lot to prove. But, safety's the issue. And so those presidents, they're not going to get sued. Because if I'm one of the parents that don't want my son to play and he goes ahead and plays because the majority of people kind of forced him to play because he didn't want to, and then something happens or his grandmother passes away because he passed something.
Right.
Now you can't you can't play around with that, man. So like,
now I did hear an interesting perspective, man. A few days ago, one of my guys was telling me about, and I think even Trevor Lawrence alluded to this as well. Like, okay, if we're not on campus, if we're not playing, they basically were saying playing is a more safer zone than not playing, right? Because we're going back to home, we're going to just be in the dorms with everybody. We're not getting tested regularly. And so you're putting that group of people maybe at risk even, their risk is even greater. But again, I think ultimately, to just what you alluded to, it's much more than even just the team and those folks there. Like you talking about your parents and grandparents and all of that. And so even though the players on the team may be able to get tested more frequently and things, like the trickle down effect, like I said, is so much more greater. But it was an interesting point. Like I get it. But then again, we kind of just drawing such a laser focus and this whole thing this is a global situation. So,
I mean, unless you could put the football teams for every conference and everybody that you're going to play and keep them in their own bubble. And the players will have to stay in their own bubble. Like everybody that they travel with would have to be, you know what I mean? So you get on charters, all the people in the athletic department that's going to be traveling with the teams at different places, all those people would literally just have to be in a bubble. Because right now with the NBA, nobody can leave and nobody can go. So even the announcers were saying, yo, I don't want to be announcing at the game in the bubble because they're going to make us stay in there. And if we leave, we got to quarantine. And so a lot of the guys were even saying we calling the game from somewhere else because we don't want to go into the bubble because now we're subject to the bubble rules. So it's just something that the bubble rules. So you just gotta pivot, you gotta adjust, and you gotta learn and you gotta grow, man. People are like, you have a better chance of being hit by a car or being murdered or being this or being that, than catching the coronavirus if you're a young person. I was like, that's just the thing. Like, those things aren't contagious. Getting hit by a car is not contagious. You know what I'm saying? And if I actually yesterday, there was an event. It was social distancing everywhere. And I had to speak at this event, smaller event, and there was a gentleman that got up and he was talking and he said, thank you all for wearing your mask and being social distant because my mom died from COVID in April. You know what I mean? And he was one of the guest speakers as well. He's like, my mom died from COVID in April. So I appreciate you guys taking it serious because it hit me a lot harder than it may have hit all you all. And that's just one person of about 50 people that was there. But that could have been any of those 50 people. Like, if somebody's mom or dad passed away or grandparent for COVID, you're like, yeah, this is real. This is not, because it's not impacting you. It's like, this impacted, my mom is dead because of this. So, I don't know what they're going to do. It seems like the president's going to make a decision and not play. I just think that.
So can a president sign an executive order
for his camp?
I'm talking about Trump.
President Trump.
President Trump signed an executive order. Now y'all playing. You are a citizen of the United States. You playing football.
You playing football. I don't know. They're going to figure out NFL, though. NFL's going to play a couple games at least.
Try.
A couple games.
I don't see it happening, man.
All it's going to take is for a couple people to get it. It's a wrap.
You got a whole team. You got shut down.
Yeah.
No Super Bowl. I was looking forward to going to the Super Bowl this year, too, man.
Yeah. It's all good, man. Throw a Super Bowl in your living room. Just get a football and put on a helmet. Put on your helmet, man. You think this still fit?
Blue 42.
Ready.
Hit.
Always ready.
Easy.
He's so good. I'm so grateful, he's so good. Hey, life is but a dream, no matter what you've been through. Replace the fake around you, but some friends pretend too.